Hello again. Welcome to another Fresh from the Theater review. It's been a while since I did one of these, and today we're going to be looking at the new film from Jordan Peele, Nope. This has definitely been one of the most hyped films of the year, and before I tell you what I thought of it, let me give my quick thoughts on Jordan Peele's previous films, Get Out and Us. I really enjoyed Get Out. I thought it was a great, extremely well done horror film. Had pretty good commentary that was not beaten into your head. And great cast, very effective, very original. And it was quite a film for Peele to come onto the directing scene with after doing his comedy career with Keegan-Michael Key. And Us, I enjoyed it. I did a vlog for it when it came out, and I thought it was a good, creepy horror film. A very visual movie, and I didn't think it was as good as Get Out. There were definitely some plot points and pacing issues, and Lupita Nyong'o, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, her performance as the evil doppelganger, I was a bit mixed on, but it was a pretty effective horror film, something that anyone who wants a good scary ride would really get into. You could see Jordan Peele's love for the genre all over the place. So with the past few years putting a big dent on productivity, COVID, it was nice to see him come back, and I was really interested to see what he did this time. The trailer, which I saw a few times at the theater, I think, it gave a very sci-fi aliens vibe, and I didn't want to have anything spoiled because the trailers didn't give away much. They did a good job of hiding what the main plot would be, so I've been actively avoiding reading reviews, hearing anything about what this movie would be about, and before I attempt to explain what the story is, I just want to say, when I first heard about this movie, my first thought was, could have picked a better title, and now that I've seen it, because I thought maybe I would understand it better, I still think they could have picked a better title, but regardless, Nope, I went to see this, and there wasn't many people in the theater. The lights were a little on in certain areas, which is a little distracting, but I was able to get into it pretty well, and I will say right at the bat, I had a good time watching this. It was a very atmospheric, again, very visual, like Jordan Peele and the people he has shooting his movies, they really know how to create a visual masterpiece, and the whole thing was just fascinating to watch, interesting. It kept me really staying there, wanting to know how it ended, and concerns a brother and sister duo, the Haywoods. O.J. Haywood, played by Daniel Kaluuya, hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is returning from Get Out, where he was a pretty awesome horror lead, and Emerald, aka M. Haywood, played by Kiki Palmer, who I'm not as familiar with in terms of acting. The thing I recognize her from most would be that old Nickelodeon show, Truth Jackson VP, which I only saw a few episodes of because, like most Nickelodeon shows at the time, you could tell they were really starting to go down. But they're the brother-sister owners of a horse ranch that rents horses out to movie studios. It was founded by their father, who in the opening scene gets killed by falling debris from the sky, and their father, Otis Haywood Sr., is played by horror movie legend David Keith, and I was excited to see that he was going to be a part of this, but kind of like Ed Harris in Top Gun Maverick, he's really only in the first 10 minutes. He does have one or two scenes in flashback later, but he's not really in it that much, and I kind of wish we could have had a little more, but it was nice to see him, if only briefly, and OJ and M, although she's kind of off doing her own thing in Hollywood. He tries to keep the ranch alive, renting horses, but no one seems to really know how to work with horses or manage them well. And we find out there's a little interesting family history. The Haywoods claim that this black horse jockey in the first example of a moving picture from the 1800s is their ancestor, so they got a connection to film history right there. And as they try to keep the business alive, OJ is forced to sell some of the horses to this rodeo amusement park run by a guy named Ricky Jupe Park, played by Stephen Yoon, a former child actor who's dealing with some PTSD shit from an incident that happened on a sitcom that he was filming as a little kid. And as these two stories are going on, weird shit starts happening in the sky, which was really highlighted in the trailers, and it's kind of what was advertised, but they did do a good job of not giving away everything. It appears to be, at first, a flying saucer hiding in the clouds, and it comes down, usually at night, and seems real attracted to the horses on the Haywood Ranch. As the film goes on, OJ and M try to find proof, feeling that if they can prove that there's a UFO, it will get them enough money to save the ranch, because, yep, that's always got to be number one priority. Save the family business. And along the way, they pick up a tech guy named Angel, played by Brandon Vera. And this character, the Angel character, this character was just a fascinating human being to watch. When he first appeared, I found him to be unbelievably fucking annoying. Part of me I felt like this was the most unnecessary and worst character they could have included, and I felt like his presence just brought the film down. But as the movie went on, and the more he associated with the Haywood siblings, he actually started to grow on me, and by the end, I found myself actually hoping that he would get out of this alive. So I don't know if that's good writing on Peele's part or good acting on Vera's part. Yeah, this was the most interesting character for me, just all the changing feelings I had on him. And that's all I can really say without delving into the spoilers. So before I get into that area, I'm going to give my quick thoughts on the cast of the film. Outside of Brandon Vera, who I thought again was the most, he had the most interesting character throughout the film. Daniel Kaluuya as OJ, I'm mixed on him in this. I mean, he was great as Chris in Get Out. He had a kind of shy, kind of reserved character in that film. Here, he plays a guy who's trying to keep the family business alive, and I'm a little mixed because he seems very disinterested. Like, he comes off, he puts on a demeanor, like, maybe it's a way of showing that the character is just doing this to preserve his father's legacy, but the way he acts, carries himself, he comes off throughout the film kind of like he could give a rat's ass what's going on, but he does stay through it, and he becomes more lively in the third act. And not saying I did not like him in this, it's just for the first 2/3 of the film he seemed either tired or just came off like he wished he could be somewhere else. Again, maybe that's part of the character, but it wasn't the most alive performance. And Kiki Palmer, who, again, I have not seen a ton of her work. I'm a little mixed on her as well, but I thought she had a lot stronger character than Daniel Kaluuya. She plays a very energetic, which is already a point she has up on him, very spunky chick. And she's out in Hollywood trying to make a name for herself, and she's the first one to really get into the idea of getting footage of the UFOs, if there is any. But when danger starts to come, you can tell she's not stupid, because she recognizes there is serious threats coming, but she still has a goal that she wants to fulfill. You can tell she loves her brother and wants him to come out of this. So I liked her in this. She had a few moments where she would go dead quiet, and then others where she would get more lively again, but she was definitely the stronger of the two leads. Steven Yeun as Jupe, Ricky Park. You're going to hear this a lot throughout this review. I am mixed on him in the sense that he gives a good performance. Like, this guy gives a really decent performance, but the character of Jupe almost feels like he's from a completely different movie. This, I guess, would be the first of many spoilers, but I'm not putting this in the spoiler section because this is a part of his character. We get his backstory that he was on this sitcom as a child, and the sitcom was about a family with a chimp sibling, and while they were filming a show, the chimp apparently went ballistic and just beat the skull of the parent actors in, killing them. The only cast member he didn't pulverize or fuck up was Ricky, and he attempted to give him a fist bump, which was like the signature move of this sitcom. And just as they were about to touch, the cops came in and blew the chimp's brains out all over the kid. And this sequence was a wonderful mix of being funny, but also being genuinely unsettling. And I liked it, but kind of like the deformed sister subplot from Pet Sematary, I question, why is this here? This is a movie about a alien saucer abducting horses, people from a ranch. I mean, I get it coming after the rodeo carnival, but this whole chimp backstory for his character just seemed like, I'm not saying it's unnecessary, but it does not match the rest of the film for me. I just think this could have been its own movie about a monkey actor on a TV show going nuts and killing people. I mean, George Romero made it work with Monkey Shines. I mean, this just seems like it belongs in another project. So, Steven Yeun, I liked him in this, but his whole character arc just seemed like it didn't belong. The only other big name worth mentioning, I think, is one I was very surprised was appearing here. Michael Wincott, who some might recognize as playing the main villain Top Dollar in The Crow. He plays this cinematographer who the Haywoods have encountered and worked with a few times. And it was just wonderful to hear that raspy voice of his again. So chilling and sexy at the same time. And he's a cinematographer who appears to prefer shooting on film over digital, and they convince him to come out to the ranch to help them get documentation of the alien saucer. At first he's not in it that much, and I was kind of worried he was going to be wasted, but he played a huge part in the second half of the movie, and he mixed well with all the younger actors, and I was glad to see him. It's been a while since I've seen his face in anything. And before I get into the spoilers, which some of you might want to go away from if you don't want to know everything, the basic questions I had for myself going into Nope was, is it scary? And there were some very tense sequences. Get Out was scary, and Us, despite its flaws, was pretty fucking unsettling. And while this definitely falls into the horror genre, it's more sci-fi and thriller-based. There were some parts that were well done, definitely much stronger in the suspense department. It was a very building up of mystery and thrills, so I can't say it didn't fail there. The scariest part for me, ironically, was a fake-out scare sequence. It's where Daniel Kaluuya's in a barn on the ranch, and I won't say anything other than that, just that he thinks there's aliens in there, and the payoff is pretty fucking funny. And how was the music? Because to me, music is one of the most major key factors to making a horror film work. And the music here, done by Michael Abels, who's done the scores on all of Jordan Peele's films. It was pretty nice. Definitely not as chills down your spine as, say, Get Out was. But it fit the type of movie that they were trying to make here, and it helped keep everything going all the way to the end. And so those are my mostly spoiler-free thoughts. And if you're a fan of Jordan Peele, if you're a fan of sci-fi horror films, then I think you will have an enjoyable time. I found this movie a pretty good watch, and if you want to stick around, if you've already seen it, then we will be back very shortly, and I will get into the more spoiler-heavy thoughts.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I really enjoyed Nope. Again, I thought it was a very interesting theater experience. I would not put this on the same level of Get Out, and I'm not sure I'd put it on the same level as Us either. I'd say it's somewhere in between. And to get into that, I really need to talk about the sort of twist, which is that the alien that they think is a spaceship is not a ship. It's just a big alien that is shaped like a saucer. And then at the end, we see in its full form, and this is a pretty fucking cool design for this alien. And what I like is we never get a clear or up-close view of this fucking thing. It's just kind of there, and we see enough that we get that this is some kind of fantastical beast, but we never see enough that we can maybe see the flaws. And we see as the movie goes on that whenever something gets too close, like an electrical device gets too close to this thing, the electricity goes out, it short circuits, which is what leads to Michael Wincott's character deciding to film the alien using a film camera that is powered by winding by hand, non-electrical. And that's something I really liked, which was the film versus digital. It's subtle, but it's there, the film versus digital kind of debate that's going on. And I was happy to see in the end credits that this movie itself was filmed on Kodak film. Michael Wincott, his character was cool, but I really did not like how they killed his character off. He films it, he gets footage. It's clear he's gotten footage of the ship, the alien, and what does he do? He wants to get a better shot, so he runs out, goes right at it, even though it's clear this thing will suck you up and eat you if you get too close to it. The alien eats humans, horses, consumes them. He goes up wanting to get the impossible shot, and I get loving photography, like the passion of photography, but this guy had been pretty smart. He'd worked well with the group before this, so I just don't understand why all of a sudden he went straight up retard. It didn't make any goddamn sense to me that he would do something like this. It was the dumbest, most unnecessary death since Jonathan Kent and Man of Steel. While we're in the cons area, some other stuff that I wasn't particularly fond of with Nope is the pacing, kind of like Us, was a bit off in certain places. This is a very slow burn movie. It's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and the building up is done extremely well, and unlike, say, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, the payoff was so much better. However, the action, like when they actually go up against the alien, when they're setting up to take on the threat, the interactions they have with each other throughout the film, the action feels reminiscent of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is fitting because they have Keith David, but the pacing feels more on par with, say, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It feels like two different styles that don't necessarily match, and as much as I love the slow burn, there are some scenes that I felt dragged on a little too long, and I like long movies, but I feel like this could have been 20-25 minutes shorter, and it would have flowed a lot smoother. There was a scene during the climax when they're setting up to take on the alien where this random reporter, who they say is from TMZ, which I guess is just a shot at TMZ, shows up, causes unnecessary trouble, and I get it. You have a guy showing up to cause trouble and add to the suspense, but this just felt like a not very good attempt at comedy. It just kind of, again, dragged the movie down and made you think there could have been a lot better ways or a better character that they could have used to throw a wrench in the works and add to the danger. Lastly, the ending, while it does do a good job of not ending too abruptly, I feel like there could have been a little more closure, because the whole gist is they're trying to get proof that this fucking alien exists. The film ends with M getting a little proof, but I'm not sure that would hold up in most people's eyes. And we see that OJ made it out alive. He's sitting on a horse in classic Old West style. And, well, this is sci-fi based. You can definitely see Jordan Peele's giving a lot of love to the Old West genre as well. And then it ends, and honestly, I could have used a scene of people either finding out or rubbing off the claims of an alien, I mean, which would have been annoying, but would have given a little more closure that I would have welcomed. So those are my thoughts on Jordan Peele's Nope. Still think they could have picked a better title, but I enjoyed this. It was not Get Out, and it was not Us, but it's cool. It seems like he's doing his own thing with each project. He's not trying to copy or mimic himself too much, and I think the most apparent thing with his movies is Jordan Peele is a really good director. He is a very visual filmmaker, and he knows how to build suspense, and well, I think some of the acting could have been a little better in certain areas. I thought it was a good collection, a good cast, and this movie clearly shows a lot of love for the art of filmmaking. And while it's not quite as bleak as John Carpenter's The Thing, it's a good group going up against an alien invading the planet type movie. I'd totally recommend it, and if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Not as great as Get Out, but still a pretty fucking cool ride. Hope you enjoyed my review. Want to see more videos? Check them out here on the channel, and I will see you again soon.